Okay, and Ralph Mera was not in there. He was in there long enough to get the arrest going.
He was in there a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
A couple months later.
But not as yeah, he was in the office. He was not in charge until Christie left and put him in charge.
Right, but that's not what I mean. I mean after the fact, after Christie left and Ralph Mera did him this favor and rounded up all those people. He didn't stay much longer after that. He
wound up becoming appointed by Christie to the New Jersey Sports Authority.
Okay, but when you look at all this material with a fresh set of eyes, with a fresh appointee, Fishman, okay, the current U.S. attorney, why didn't he come in and just throw this all out?
My answer to that is from me studying all this Office of Public Responsibility and why they don't prosecute. Why prosecutors don't eat their own is there's a clique, if you will, amongst them, and it transcends party lines, and they're going to protect their own. And the other thing is, I think he would have, he's a new guy on the page. He wants to look tough. And he was going to let a lot of the violations go because he knows about them. There's no getting around it. He knows about them. As a matter of fact, for him allowing them to continue to perpetrate these violations in his knowledge, he might be subject to sanctions. So that's why he's going to fight this to the end.
It does look like he went in there hoping some of this would just go away through some other means.
Yeah, everybody's going to plead, go away.
And then when that didn't happen, now he's part of it.
He is. He's neck guy. He went in there with blinders on and a can of white paint, and he whitewashed everything.
Okay, and now he's protecting himself.
Exactly.
Okay, and the Office of Public Responsibility again.
It's a joke. It's the Roach Motel. Complaints check in, but they don't check out.
Okay. But let's, they're in the Justice Department, right?
Yes.
There's a subset that says let's police ourselves.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
It's the difference between, if you will, internal affairs and a civilian review board.
Right.
That's the point I make.
Okay.
Use the Inspector General as if, a police department would use a civilian review board rather than internal affairs.
I did a show recently with John Paff, a libertarian advocate in New Jersey, and he's a big person on the getting open public records, but talking about the internal affairs in the police department. From what I've seen, they take a guy who's a cop and gets promoted to a rank and then says, all right, you have to be the internal affairs guy. It's like a collateral duty. And it's not an assignment anybody wants.
No.
Okay? And they want to come out of it unscathed.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If they want the rest of their career to go well,
right.
Okay?
It's an automatic conflict, if you will, just built into it. It's tragic.
Okay, so you were talking about the contributions, by the way, and there's an extensive amount of contributions from.
There were more than 15 individuals who were working these prosecutions and investigations contributed money to Christie. And remember, Christie in February said publicly, on tape, I have a whole group of U.S. attorneys who I'm in contact with in Trenton who was sitting there watching everything that's going on. And when I win this election, I'm taking them all with me to Trenton. So they, within weeks of that, as a matter of fact, Charles McKenna and Hannah and my prosecutor are sending money in to Christie. Now,
and this is before the arrest,
right? And there are guidelines that say prosecutors who have a personal stake, personal or professional stake in a case, the outcome of a case, or whether to charge or not charge someone, should recuse themselves. Well, if you're making a donation, you're counting on Christie to get to Trenton so you could become governor, and you're prosecuting Hudson County Democrats who are essential to John Corzone's victory, you have a conflict. Okay?
Sure.
And if you didn't know you did, Okay? On July 23rd, after the arrests were made, and practically in every newspaper in the state it was reported the impact that this was going to have to John Corzine's campaign. And you know Joe Doria, you know, didn't take money, but you sent the FBI guys over to his house to raid it, and they're now being used, those ads, in Christie campaign.
And sent the photographer too.
Right, and well, remember that all, you then knew you had a conflict.
Yeah.
But they persisted.
But let's
they
get the
handled grand
newspapers
juries.
here. We're going to go into somebody's house looking for something.
Yeah.
Let's get the newspapers here first.
Yeah.
When do they ever do that?
They had to do it this time because, you know, this was well planned. Well planned.
Okay. But and you showed a clip in your of that statement from Christie when you did your
Yes.
your
Press conference.
conference, but that was before July 23rd.
That's right.
Okay.
That's February.
Okay. So this is a guy talking about all these guys waiting
Yeah.
for him to be governor.
Yeah.
Okay. Gee, I wonder what we could do to help him become governor.
Well, I'm saying they could play dummy and say, "Oh, I didn't know he was going to, you know, arresting a Hudson County Democrat was going to hurt Corzine."
Yeah.
But after the newspapers and after people like Charlie Stiles and Augie Torres and all these people saying the effect it was going to have on the election, at that point you knew it was a conflict.
Yeah. Okay. There's no way that they.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way. They
Exactly.
Okay. Again, I say it became personal against you, and we just talked about the indictments here. But I mean, are you seeing anything else other than the continued and the delays?
Well, look, they've changed prosecutors 5 times on them.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten a notice of delay on the 5th one yet, but we, you know, we anticipate it. Because the guy's going to say to the judge, I got to get up to speed on the case, you know.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they look to bleed you financially, depress you, because, you know, and not want you to see your day and torture you up until the point that, you know, you're in the courtroom hoping that you'll succumb before then.
I saw some of this with Smith, and I'm sure it also happened with Baldini and Elwell. There's the expense, okay? You can go through, now Elwell Baldini too got convicted of one of the things, and I really don't see how they made that case, but they did. I mean, it's with the jury, but there's the major expense, okay? You can go in there. Smith was found not guilty, unanimous verdict on all of the charges. It cost him dearly, financially. It cost him dearly.
Wiped you out.
Okay. In your case, it's not only the cost of it, but they prevent you from earning money.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
They did that with me from day one. What they did is they went to my bank and they got all my bank records, business, personal, campaign. They knew I never put money or never took money from Solomon Dweck in any of those accounts. But there's a law that protects every American, and it says that when the government accesses your bank accounts, the bank has to tell you. Well, they told the bank not to tell me, okay? And when I went to the bank, I found out all this, and this is another issue that I'm going to bring up. But what happened at that point, John, was because I was thrown out of the bank because of the pressure brought on by the government. They closed all my accounts. I was unable to access credit. I was unable to conduct any business. Not that I had a head in my business at the time, you know, to you know, handling indictment and everything. But they
you can't work under your licenses.
Well,
right?
That I couldn't conduct business, but more importantly, I couldn't access credit. It affected my credit rating. Okay, and I couldn't get money or resources together that I needed to help my defense. I had to go out and put myself in debt and get personal loans from family members to sustain my, you know, my case.